Rush Limbaugh is going to lecture liberals about how our beliefs and our policies lead to a rotting culture.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you agree with the statement that our culture is rotting? Would you partially agree? Would you somewhat agree? Would you totally agree? Would you totally disagree? My thought is that most people on our side would agree to one extent or another that our culture is rotting. Now, who is responsible for this? Who actually is injecting social issues into politics and has been from practically the beginning? If you think it's the Republicans and if you think it's the Christian right, the moral majority, or what have you, you are wrong. They are defenders. If what used to be weird or kooky is now the new norm, then of course, who are the new kooks and weirdos? Which I think is part of the agenda, is to have Republicans and conservatives thought of as uncool, unhip kooks and weirdos. To the point now that when Caitlyn Jenner or transgenderism itself comes up in the context of a political debate, question, interview, or what have you, the odds are every Republican you see is going to punt the issue by saying, oh, we support human beings. And we love human beings. And if a human being thinks he's a woman as a man, fine with me. That, to me, is an attempt on the part of any Republican does that to appear to be hip, to appear to be cool, to avoid being thought of as the new weirdo. But in the process, the culture rots.
Look at the difference here between liberals and conservatives. Because what he's saying is, rotting culture, to me, is LGBT rights, trans people, like he's going on and on about there, things like feminism, raising the minimum wage, other, maybe not so much economic issues, but more specifically social issues. Drug legalization, for example. Rush Limbaugh looks at that and he goes, the culture's rotting. The culture's rotting because we treat gay people equally and we care about freedom for somebody to take a substance when they're not hurting anybody. Culture's rotting. To him, that's what a bad culture is. Now, what do liberals think, constitutes a bad culture? I don't know, money in politics, corruption, bribery, medical bankruptcies, student loan debt, offensive wars, attacking a country that didn't attack us, and then as a result of that, minimum 200,000 people die? Okay, that's a problem. CIA torture? We tortured people. So in a weird way, I agree with Rush Limbaugh that we do have a culture that's rotting. But that culture is brought about by the right, and that culture is from neoconservatism and American imperialism. That's the rotting culture, and that's real, and that's a problem. But to Rush, those things are great. To this day, he loves the Iraq War. He says it all the time. But to him, the problem is we might treat Caitlyn Jenner with respect. What the fuck is wrong with us, guys? And then let's not forget, he just said it at the end there. He's like, oh, the society is changing and they're trying to make us Republicans look uncool and unhip. Rush, that train left the station decades ago. And he always frames it like it's nefarious. Like, oh, those liberals are trying to define us as the new weirdos. We're the bad guys. No, but it's not like we're doing that for no reason. We're doing that because your ideas are damaging the country. We're doing that because your policies are unintelligent. See, this is a peek into Rush Limbaugh's mind here. I'm the victim. Republicans are victims. We're put down as the new weirdos. We're so oppressed. We're so persecuted. Meanwhile, he's saying that in a segment where he's advocating to persecute and to put down and to oppress trans people. He wears that on his sleeve and he says that's the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to victimize them. All the while he's crying about how he's the victim. The irony is overwhelming.